Hello and welcome to Garblank Games. This is Vostok's Chance, the Scion game. Hello and welcome back to episode 1 of our brand new Scion game. If you haven't watched the previous episode, you can do so. It's up now, and we do character creation with 3 of our characters. Sam and John weren't here for that one, but we also discuss the setting, what's going on in the game, and a bit of sort of the more global setting, and also some of the changes I'm making to the rules.
We put it on while we were doing ours.
That's true.
And then we're trying to disagree with you, and you couldn't hear us.
It didn't work very well.
No, Colin, no!
So, in a minute I'll do introductions. Before we do, if you're listening to our podcast, check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching it on YouTube, check out the podcast. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where we're sharing news, updates, intro sequences, images, stuff, cool things to get everyone excited. If you have any comments or so forth on the Instagram, or on the Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever, it's greatly appreciated. Had someone comment on our intro session to tell me a little bit about American immigration laws.
Yeah,
which are relevant to this game, which is cool.
Yeah.
I am an immigrant in this game. It's going to come very useful.
Yep. So you can join us on Discord. We've got lots of people chatting about various things. We've got our Patreon, where we are now up to apparently 41 patrons, so thank you very much to all those people.
Yeah.
So, yep, so anyone who's contributing money, it's helping us to pay for all this equipment, and it seems like every week I come in here, there's something new.
New toys.
I haven't been in this studio since the first D&D session we played. And the changes have been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a radio station in here now.
It's great. Cool. So, yep, thank you to all those people. And if you aren't already a patron, go in there. There's various things on there. Maps and adventure modules that are going to go out to all the patrons. We also have products on DriveThruRPG and on Redbubble. So there's the Zweihander campaign setting, Black Road, on DriveThruRPG. I think maybe the module's going up on DriveThruRPG, I'm not sure. Pete will correct me. I'm sure we'll put links around.
Or links below.
Or links below, whatever. And there's various cool things on Redbubble as well. Check out our other shows. So, Masters and Monsters have just finished.
Flint and Steel.
There's Flint and Steel ongoing. We've got Star Trek Morpheus, which started last week. They were doing character creation,
going
universe
really well,
creation.
Already has 400 views, the Star Trek
Yeah,
one.
that one's
Been
doing
up
really,
for
really well.
What, 3 days?
I know, quite impressive. And all links around. Below, probably.
Stuff. Things.
Anyway, right. So, we'll do introductions. I'm going to break a little bit from the normal format, because I want to do a little bit more talking before we go around and do introductions, and then we'll actually drop into the game. So, I'm Colin. I'm the storyteller, and I'm running the game. Since last session, we had a bit more of a discussion on one aspect of the rules, which is the virtue system in Scion. So, in the games I've played previous to the time, the virtue system hasn't really come up, or rather the process of going against virtues hasn't really come up. But Roger wants to play a ninja from a family of samurai. As such, he doesn't quite line up with their ideals of virtue.
Honourable backstabbing.
So we had a bit of conversation around it, and looking around online, other people have had similar thoughts. So just a quick review. The standard rules are basically, if you want to act against a virtue, you can spend a point of willpower. That allows you to act freely. Or you roll your virtue rating, and if you get any successes, you can't act against the virtue. If you get more successes than you have temporary willpower, you enter a virtue extremity, which is a very severe overacting of the virtue, because you're overwhelmed by the shame of trying to act against it. The issue with that is, without spending willpower, you've got a 40% chance of being compelled to follow a virtue that you have 1 point in, which a lot of people have agreed is a bit harsh. Now, I've been having a look around that, thinking around it. Some people have suggested only applying this rule to virtues that have you have level 3,
or something, yeah.
which is fine. It's simple. Is a reasonable solution. Not one I decided to go with because it just felt a bit cliff edge. You got virtue at 2, you can do what you want, completely ignore it. You got a virtue at 3, suddenly you've got an 80% chance of being compelled to follow it. I don't expect people to be going against virtues they have at 3 or higher anyway, because they're kind of at that point a fundamental part of the character, but still. As a mechanic, I didn't really like it. I had to think about a few other ways of doing it. I had a thought of having a system where if you had at least 3 times the number of... if your temporary willpower is at least 3 times the successes, or 4 times the successes, you could just ignore it for free. I thought about that for a bit, and again, I didn't quite like it, because I was feeling that if it was 3 times, then that gives you too much chance to ignore your 4-star virtue. And if you put it at 4 times, then that's pretty much for most characters 10% chance of the 1-star, but at 1 point virtue will still compel you to do things. And then I realised that actually, the problem I was having with this whole thing is virtues compelling you to do things. So, I'm sure those other mechanics will work, and it does fit within the sort of themes of Scion, where you are sort of bound to your role within the Pantheon and things. There is a sort of one of the themes of Scion is the restriction of freedom that comes with this power. There's this sort of balance. The more power you have, the less freedom you have. But I don't really like it as a role-playing game mechanic. So, what I'm going to go with instead is, first of all, playing up the aspect of virtue as status. So, with your Pantheon and with any Pantheon that shares your virtues, you will be more respected the higher rating you have in that virtue. It's unlikely to have a major effect in this arc, because you're hero and you're probably not going to be interacting with gods very much, but it would apply to other supernaturals who respect those virtues, other scions, etc. Then the other thing I'm going to do is then the other mechanic is basically, if you want to act against your virtue, there is no willpower, you roll the virtue. If you get more successes than you have temporary virtue extremity, good luck with that. It does make virtue extremity slightly more likely to happen, but I'm not...
Could be interesting.
Could be interesting. I've never had one happen, so, why not?
First time for everything.
It's going to happen in the first 5 minutes.
I was going to say.
God, I just thought what some of mine. Oh.
I was going to say that's definitely going to be you, Sam.
Valor.
To be fair, you have to roll
No, harmony.
You do have to roll more successes than you have temporary willpower. You have 1 dot in harmony.
Good job, nice.
So, any successes you roll, basically, you then roll the dice. You then have that last chance to turn back. I'm giving you an option at that point. After you've rolled the dice,
Actually, no.
you can decide, actually, no, this is my warning. So, basically, if you try and take an action and I say, that's acting against your virtues, roll it, you roll it, and then you can decide, do I turn back? If you don't turn back, you immediately lose as many activations, so you tick them off as if you'd used them, as many activations as you roll successes. Any excess, don't just ignore them, you've just run out. And depending on your rating of the virtue and what you've done, I may remove 1 or more, if it's particularly bad, points of that virtue.
Dun, dun, dun.
This isn't so much really intended to be thought of as a punishment, it's
No,
more
it's-
me just making your count sheet correct. If you're not acting as someone who has Courage 5, then you're not getting Courage 5 on the count sheet.
I've got all the healer ones.
So, that's kind of...
Your loyalty is only 1.
Well, I couldn't be that nice.
So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. That point of view. The flip side to that, I want to do is, I think the first bit's actually in the rules, which is if you act to uphold your virtues in a more than just acting according to them, but actually upholding them in the face of some significant adversity, you can regain activations that way.
Cool.
If you do so especially dramatically well and appropriately, you can gain permanent points.
Bonuses!
I'm not expecting to be handing out very many of those awards, so I may if people are particularly awesome. But if people, but yeah, I'm not really expecting to be handing out a large number of
Freebies.
of those kind of awards. They are for the really dramatic moments, but they're out there. Yes, so that's what I'm going to do with virtues. And that leads into the other thing I wanted to talk about briefly, which is that from my experience of running games, I always forget to hand out the awards. So roleplay points, bennies, whatever, I tend to forget about them, and it's awkward, because I'm thinking about running the game and everything. So, One, I'm going to try and keep on top of stunts, because I want to be quite free with stunts.
I
'Cause I want
drove
to
Joe
encourage you to
mad
stunt.
intentionally not stunting last game.
But hey, and remember, you basically can stunt pretty much anything. Much as you did manage to avoid stunting pretty much
Yep,
everyone in
that was
combat,
amazing.
you did stunt predicting the weather by looking up at the clouds.
I did.
So you can stunt basically anything, and sometimes stunts can help change a roll. If you want a roll, if you think a roll would be more beneficial to you, if you can explain to me how you're doing something off stats that are better for you, that's A, a stunt, so yeah, go for it, and B, you're more likely to actually get the roll you want. So it's cool from that point of view. But I'll try and keep on top of stunts. But I may forget some of the other things. So if you spot something that you think either you think you should be getting a reward for, or you think someone else around the table should be getting a reward for, say something, speak up.
Also,
I may disagree, but I'm not going to hold it against you.
potential audience interaction. If they do it within the thing before the next session and they put it in the comments, then maybe, because I'm
go
wood for it.
You reward the experience points.
I'm wood for it. He's
God.
done a couple
Vote
of
John.
polls
Yeah.
on like Twitter or wherever, saying, right, who do you think gets the extra fate point this session or whatever.
something
And
like-
Jim has
Cool.
an army of people that do that. But this is new and different, and we're
Yeah.
totally fresh, so it's all it's all cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a good idea. So yeah, if
Be fresh.
fresh.
Yeah, it's a new
I
game.
will try and keep an eye. I'll keep an eye on the comments. Yeah, if people want to make suggestions like that online, I again may disagree with you. But
Well, GM gets to rule it.
exactly. But that's the thing. It's I know from myself that I tend to forget these things, so I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to be upset or feel undermined if people are suggesting these things.
We'll forgive you.
So if you suggest it and I say no, that's fine. I'm guessing that probably after a few sessions you'll have a decent idea of what I think's reasonable, and then I'll probably agree with whenever you suggest it. I'll still forget it, so keep reminding me. Okay,
Awesome.
so right, having done all that, let's actually go around and introduce ourselves. You are all starting on the plane to some place you've never heard of in New England, where apparently the sort of base, not so much studio, what you've been told, but the base of this show is. So if you could go around, introduce yourself, say a little bit about who you are, introduce yourself, introduce your character, who they are, who their patron is, what your relationship to your patron is, and a little bit about what you look like, because you are all now in the same space.
The plane space.
In the same plane space. Yes.
Get out of Planescape, we're not there yet.
Yeah. Alright, so hello everyone, I'm John, making my triumphant return. I have a beard now, it's very cool. I'm playing Maria Crowley, who is a scion of the Aztec pantheon, the daughter of a famed archaeologist and the god of maize and fertility, Expitotec. Don't question me on the pronunciation. It's Aztec, it's weird. Since fled Mexico and immigrated to America, so I've only been in the country for a couple of weeks, maybe a month at max, and I'm looking for money, so I've joined a game show. In terms of look, very 2000s grunge scene, kind of the faded printed band, loose V-neck vest, tight black jeans, and those big kind of black DMs. The most black hair and smoky eyes and black lipstick, very sort of that sort of era.
Goth.
Yeah. Lots of tattoos of the arms, like birds and skulls and Aztec symbols. Very, yeah. Exactly, a mixture of a metal and a goth. Kind of, she looks like she's a bit of a loner, because she is. Yep.
Is that your nature?
My nature is loner.
By chance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Cool. I'm gonna completely crash that.
Go on, Sam.
So, I'm Sam. Hi. I might have been on the channel before. I am going to be playing Lisa Tang, daughter of Nezar, who is a member of the Chinese celestial bureaucracy pantheon. And he...
Which is available in this book.
May have been a bit of a troublemaker. He was originally declared he had to commit suicide for the good of everyone, and didn't. But still came out on top. Well, yeah,
He did, but then he got resurrected because
he was so awesome.
celestial bureaucracy can do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's him, but he's over there because this is more important than this is about Lisa. She is totally famous, or would like to be, and was in a band and now isn't. And the less said about that, the better. It wasn't her fault.
Totally.
She is, if you're all dark and spooky.
I'm dark and spooky.
She is bright, loud, skater, punk.
This is weird.
Kind of
I don't like it.
confident.
Sam the skater punk.
Yeah.
I think I'm playing Sam's character, she's playing mine. No, let me be grungy.
Well, I tend to play more kind of
Dark and
considered-
spooky.
Well, Morgan. More kind of considered and thinky, perceptive characters.
And I have a
So-
My Little Pony pencil case.
So I'm specifically not doing any of those things, and I'm going to wing it,
Cool.
and we'll see how it goes.
Hi there, guys. I'm Dan. Mike, I'm playing Edward Percival. So very classic British son of a lord and lady, or at least he thought he was until Odin showed up and said, "You're my son." He took to it very much like he believed every single word Odin was saying. No one can work out why he believes everything that Odin's saying, but it's Odin. So
Might be the 10 ranks of epic.
well, yeah, I mean, it might have something to do with his very high level of manipulation. So he has grown up as quite a silver spoon boy, went to Cambridge, but didn't like it, so he went and joined the military university where he became a doctor, but then had to leave the military for some reasons which he's not going to discuss.
I like him already.
And was a bit lost on what to do himself. Odin shows up, says, "You're my son," and then all of a sudden something comes through for a game show and he thinks, divine destiny. He believes now completely in destiny. So yes, very well spoken, and his nature is gallant because he is classically British.
It's quite interesting you've got a lord and lady for a father, because I've got a lord as a father
Yes.
as well.
So you two. I was going to say, because basically you two won't particularly know each other, but you probably
Heard of each other.
Yeah.
you certainly are likely
Heard the
to have
name.
known
Yeah.
of each other, know the family name. There's a chance you may have actually met at some family do at some point where the kids got, but this would be like 10 years ago.
And pointedly ignored each other.
Oh,
I was sat under the table listening to Blink 182.
And I was being paraded as the only son of Lord and Lady Percival.
yes, possibly. But yes, you possibly have encountered each other briefly, but
You wouldn't recognise me.
No.
you probably wouldn't recognise each other without an introduction. I mean, it's been 10 plus years if you have seen each other at all.
Dave.
Yes.
Okay, hi, I'm Dave. I'm playing Herman Haller, a Finnish scion of Boulder. Now, I've had a fairly good life so far. I have a entrepreneurial father and a doting mother, and there's nothing in my childhood was really out of reach. I've been given every opportunity that I could have. I've been training skiing, martial arts, whatever I wanted to put my hand to, my father arranged it, and life has been pretty good. So I knew I was adopted by my earthly father, but with life being so good, never really felt the need to question it when my mother told me not to ask too much about my real father. When Boulder showed up, I largely ignored him. He's I was happy with my lot in life. Always thought I might have been a bit special. Kind of confirmed it, but I was just going to get on with things as they were. So when the
True Finnish way.
when the invitation to the game show arrived, I just saw it as another challenge to try and overcome and be the best at.
Man, you guys are all spoon-fed.
Not me.
All right, Lord and Lady.
He's dead.
There was a certain amount of other
backstory.
backstory.
Lara Croft. Sorry, what?
There was a certain amount of more colourful backstory there that has not been discussed, but that's fine. Right, one thing I should have mentioned earlier that I forgot, and should have mentioned last week, and I forgot. Character sheets. So, just a quick mention to Emerald Samurai, who is a friend of the channel, who creates role-playing resources for various systems.
I'll
And
pick it up. I've got gloves.
we are using
There we
character
go.
sheets
It's
created.
different and it's pretty.
There's the back. I'll do the back. You know.
Yeah, we're using character sheets from them.
It has space on it.
Link.
Yeah, it does.
There was space. Yes. Yeah. So. Okay. So yes, you are on this aeroplane. It's not a particularly large aeroplane, like 20-seater, something like that. Enough space that you're not obviously the 4 people on this plane. There's a dozen or so people on there. It's not a particularly prime time flight, as it were. And yeah, the flight is reasonably, surprisingly, perhaps uneventful, given the number of Scions on board.
It's not going to last.
So, is it just a flight to the New England airport?
Yes,
or is
it's
it
a
a flight
flight.
to a
It's like an
specific
internal.
location?
It's a flight to. It's an internal flight to to the airport where you will be met and taken on from there. You will basically. They've arranged transport. They've arranged your travel and where necessary, visas. We never actually quite worked out where your character's from.
Let's just go with American, it's easier.
Okay.
Rhode Island. It's the best place to be from.
Hi, Rob!
Okay, so yes. Cool, yeah. So, for you two, they've arranged visas, that kind of thing. Roger's character doesn't need them to arrange visa for separate reasons, but is apparently delayed by some reason, for some reason.
Flights.
Maybe the paperwork for his own.
It's fine, I've sorted out my own paperwork. Oh.
Whatever. He'll be arriving a bit later. So, yes, you're in this airport. So the aircraft comes in. It's a dark, overcast night, as these things often are.
I'm not looking out the window.
Fine.
Yeah.
At the
I've got
airport-
Discman.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Wow! Look at you, trendy. Oh, those things scratched so bad.
That was so bad.
And
I wasn't alive.
and every time I bumped.
Yeah, turbulence on the plane. You're like, no!
Wrecking the CDs. Anyway,
You said it was the 90s, right?
yeah, it's 1998.
Legit.
Yeah, totally. So yes, you come in. I'll say it's dark night. It's fairly small airport, so it's one of those ones you come in to land. There isn't one of those tunnels. No, it's a set of stairs and a
Yep.
little like almost golf cart kind of thing to drive you away. Bit bigger than that because there's too many people to fit on a golf cart, but you know the kind of thing I'm talking about. And it's a fairly warm night. So it's May, and you brought into the terminal building. You can see they're starting to sort out unloading baggage, all that kind of stuff in the hold.
There's not a bear.
I was going to say
I was waiting for you.
Joke we were having before we started recording.
Sorry.
Sorry. In joke.
Yes, there was not a bear, but nor were there a pair of wolves.
No, not at
I
the moment.
don't know what you mean.
I don't think I would have like baggage in baggage claim. I think I would travel with just hand luggage.
Yep.
So I think I could just breeze through baggage control.
Okay. Yep, sure.
This is pre-2001 as well, so you probably get through pretty quickly as well.
Yeah. So yes, before everything went a bit crazy. So yeah, and you find yourself in a very brightly lit, slightly too warm, and almost deserted arrivals hall. There are a few people around, meeting people off the plane, that kind of thing. And you will notice a young woman with a sign basically saying Vostok. She is probably about your age, early 20s, Indian.
He means my character, obviously.
Aww.
Let's face it, but none of us here are early 20s.
Can't remember what early
Has
20s
failed.
was.
Yes, she is. Yes, she's a young woman, Indian heritage, quite clearly. Holding a sign up saying Vostok, apparently waiting for somebody. Wonder who that could be.
It must be us.
Cool. I will stroll in that direction.
I will take. I will also kind of double take and read the sign and go, oh, that's probably the way we need to go.
I'm just kind of looking around, just like this, just and then see the sign and also kind of drag my case along behind me.
Yeah. See the sign and go up and introduce myself.
Okay.
So you would get there first.
Yeah. Probably the over-enthusiastic skater punk will get there first.
Hey.
Good evening. You would
Lisa.
be... Yes, Lisa, Miss Tang. Pleased to meet you. Chitara Ananda.
Hi. Are we...
Chitrita Ananda. She would get her name right, damn it.
Cool. Are we good?
Yes, just waiting for the rest of your group.
At that point, I'll shout behind and go,
Oh.
are you here for the game show?
Ms. Crowley.
Yep, that's me.
Edward Percival at your service.
And
Hello, I'm Herman.
welcome. Chitrita Ananda. I will be your assistant, really. Make sure you can get familiarised, make sure you know where everything is, help you find what you need. I'll be around to help you out as long as you're with us. If you would like to come this way,
Sure.
we have a car waiting.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
She leads out to the front of this airport. Again, quite a small place. Probably, depending on what you're used to. If you're used to places like Gatwick and Heathrow, this is an airport. It's a landing strip and a couple of car parking spaces, pretty much. But yes, she leads you out front, and there is a reasonably large sort of SUV type thing with enough seats.
Is it black?
It is indeed
Nice.
black. Yeah. Yes, it is black. Unfortunately, Sam, I'm afraid the goth look is in.
Dibs on the back seat.
Yeah, tinted windows and everything.
Cool, yeah. No.
She'll offer to help, put the bags in the boot.
And I refuse, and I become the gentleman that I truly am as a true Briton, and I offer to put the bags for the young ladies in the cart, which I'm guessing is probably going to be rejected by a certain young lady.
Dude, it's cool. I've got this.
I'd rather keep my bag to myself, to be honest.
Very well.
She doesn't have very much luggage. The more gothic young lady.
Have a bag.
Ms. Crowley, however, might ring a bell. As mentioned earlier.
Although then you look and think, how can someone with so many tattoos be of the upper class?
It's kind of up to you whether you put two and two together yet. But
I'm going to sort of
Note it.
note it that I recognise the name.
Yeah.
similarly, you may recognise that name. I again leave it up to you.
I ignore them and get in the truck.
You don't.
And having served in the military, the tattoos aren't that off-putting to me.
No.
So
Oh, hello.
Oh my. I do have one in epic appearance.
she is a pretty metal goth chick.
Maybe I shouldn't take the back seat. Anyway.
I'll get in the back seat.
So yes, Chitrita gets in the front, gets in the driver's seat. Unsurprisingly,
Oh, is she driving?
yeah, she's driving.
Is anyone else in?
No, it's just
Shotgun!
You're getting in the back
I
seat.
can change my mind.
Oh, okay.
You go to get in the back seat, realise there isn't a driver and that she's going.
So you
Yeah.
climb through
I was
the
going to say,
car.
I have this image of her climbing.
Oh, I can do that.
Yes. That actually makes so much.
I'm just going to quizzically lift an eyebrow and then just sit in a normal passenger seat.
I don't notice.
I'll wait for the kerfuffle to die down and then take the one remaining seat.
Fair enough.
Finnish logic.
Kerfuffle.
Okay. So, she sets off driving. You can see there's this small town in the middle distance off to your right. She doesn't appear to be heading directly in that direction. She sort of starts a road that takes you down that way and then turns off.
Mm-hmm. It's fine, none of the roads actually point in the direction they're going. They just go in straight lines, and then eventually you turn off, and then you turn off, and then you get to where you're kind of going. That's just
Can we ask her what the town is called?
Yes, and I should have decided.
Townsville!
You don't always do something. I've got a list of potential character names at the back of here so that I don't have to get stuck with character names, and I didn't think to name them in town. It is called Pleasantville.
Pleasantville, I like it.
Pleasantville, USA.
Ominous.
Named after somewhere in New York that I lived for a year.
Yay!
New York State, but hey, I'm sure there are dozens of Pleasantville.
Cool.
Look it up after the session and see if there's actually a Pleasantville
I'm
in
just going
New
to get
England.
spam on the comments. Yeah, there's one in Wisconsin and there's one in here.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Every state has one.
Probably. It's like there were like dozens of Springfields. Anyway, so yes, she drives along, so she turns off. Very quickly, you get out of anywhere that's particularly. It's not like dirt track minor roads, but it's more minor roads. Certainly no lights or anything. Headlights. She is. So yeah, as she's driving, she says, "So, how's your flight over? Everything went smoothly, I hope."
Perfectly pleasant, thank you.
Tiring, actually.
Yeah.
Not a fan of flying, personally, myself.
Why?
Don't like being that high in the sky.
Huh.
And again, just going to look quizzically at her. So,
I'm looking into
Okay.
that one. Doesn't like heights.
Says the person who is immune to falling damage. Anyway, yes. So you. Yeah. Okay. So, we're not planning on doing anything till at least tomorrow. You'll have a chance to sleep and rest up. Probably we won't start much till tomorrow afternoon. I think we've got some paperwork to make sure everything's signed off and all the forms are done.
Do we get our own rooms or do we have to share?
You will have your own rooms with driving tomorrow.
Free room service?
You'll have what you need. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So yes, we're heading out there now. Before you do something, just make sure the paperwork's sorted in the morning, and then in the afternoon we can get started on your first assignment. Just to sort of set the expectations, we always start off with a short sort of pre-screening activity. It won't go into a main episode, but you will be on camera during the filming. So we may use some of that footage in other places.
Cool.
But
So
mostly
like shorts
it's
or ad breaks or
clips to fill things in when they didn't get a good shot of something. But yes, mostly it's a sort of a tryout, I suppose, is the right term. Make sure that you're at least going to be an interesting, have a decent attempt at the main activity. Mr. Vostok doesn't like to risk.
You don't want to waste time.
Job. Exactly. And,
Yeah.
Certain opportunities only come round so often. So, want
Yeah,
to make
that's
sure
fine.
that the people undertaking them are best suited.
Will we meet Mr. Vostok?
Probably not initially. He usually speaks to his employees via a remote link. You may meet him in person in due course.
if you're any good.
Perhaps. I haven't met him very often, so met him I think twice. So yes. Do you have any other questions at all?
Yeah, can we put the stereo on?
Certainly. Anything in particular?
I don't know, I'll just skip till we find something.
Yes, good.
Just going to be really irritating and just keep skipping everything. Not loud. Like
At this
just, you know,
point, you just see Edward sort of slump back into his chair and go to a happy place and start looking out the window.
Just wondering what the rules are of murder in this state.
Don't. As I think most states have a general rule that murdering people...
Pretty sure that's universal, yeah.
Mostly.
I mean, mind you, if you're from Mexico.
Whoa!
Oh,
Apologies to any Mexican viewers.
sure, possibly apologies to any American viewers. Given
Just
the,
apologies.
Just
General
basic.
apologies.
No, there are some quite scary rules when it comes to killing people in some states, particularly I think Florida has some awful ones, but...
It's okay, they have their own superhero.
Yes, I think
Florida man.
as long as you believe they were being aggressive, that's you can shoot them.
yeah, essentially.
This is aggressive music changing.
Anyway,
If I notice
but
it's
you're in New
upsetting
England,
people, I
not
might
Florida.
stop.
If you notice.
Yeah.
But the character you specifically said is...
Roll perception.
What's your perception rating?
What, perception, empathy?
Yeah, what's your perception rating?
It's not that bad, it's 2.
Okay, yeah, you've gone...
Yeah.
You're not completely actually
Oblivious.
comically oblivious.
So there's sighing coming from the back
You're
seat.
just not Scion level.
No.
Yes.
Just think of the money. Just think of the money. Just think of the money.
Oh dear.
It's my mantra for this series. Just think of the
So
money.
how did you end up getting this job?
Oh, I was I joined the company actually shortly before the last season was canned. We were halfway through filming the next one, and the company decided it wasn't going to carry on.
So what do you do?
General assistant. I'm now really helping people out, making sure people can get what they want and they feel settled and
So kind of whatever.
yeah, pretty much. It's
Wow. Varied?
yeah, certainly that. Yes.
So why was the last season canned?
Officially, because it got a bit
People got bored,
formulaic.
right?
Huh?
It got a bit formulaic, apparently.
Oh.
It's the reason given, anyway. Everything was. I can see the point. People understood the rules a bit too much, so Mr. Vostok had to take a little while to think about how to change them up.
But we're supposed to not think about the rules.
Yes,
Because the rules are different.
Are very different now. So I would not assume that what you.
Do we get told them? Or do we just wing it?
I think much as the previous seasons, you have to rather figure it out. The problem is after 4 or 5 years, people have had a chance to see the previous episodes. And
That's
therefore-
cool, that means that I have to remember anything.
Fine. Yes, that is one way of looking at it.
How far away is this hotel?
Oh, not too much further. About another 10 minutes.
Good.
So what about you?
What?
Why are you here?
It's a game show. Gonna win the game.
Oh, well, okay then. She's gonna win. We should just go home now.
That would actually be a real help if you could.
Yeah, no, I'm here now.
Okay.
Yes, I'm afraid to say I have nothing better to do at the moment, so I will continue.
Cool.
What are you gonna do with the prize? I mean, aren't you loaded already?
Well, yes, and I'm not doing it for the prize. I'm doing it for the challenge.
Cool.
Call it destiny, if you will.
That's the gayest shit I've ever heard.
Yes, potentially.
Hey, everyone needs a hobby. What's
I
yours?
suppose. Getting money.
It's a boring hobby.
I can't all afford a top hat like this one.
I didn't pack my top hat. You're right.
Ah, of course you didn't.
And you?
It's an interesting challenge. I like to challenge myself, and, well, this one's certainly different. I'm admittedly used to knowing the rules of the challenges I take on, but
You'll be given the brief for all of your tasks, so you'll know what you have to do and how you have to act within it, how you choose to interpret them, and how you choose to act, how you expect the world to react to you, I suppose, is something you're going to need to figure out. It wasn't so much the rules of the challenges that were understood as
The rules of engagement.
the laws we were operating within, I suppose.
I'm sure I'll work it out.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I hope this will not be too brief an acquaintance.
That sounds ominous.
Right, are you leaving?
Well, I mean that you get to continue until you decide that you don't wish to take on the next challenge, or that you fail to complete one of the assignments. So,
Oh, okay.
a lot of contestants.
Or presumably win.
I like to think win.
Well, that's the point. That's the way the show works. For each challenge you complete, you accrue a certain amount of prize money. You may then choose whether you take the money and leave, or increase it.
Is that an individual prize money, or is it a team building
How
exercise?
many people are playing?
I believe this team is due one more member, but he's been unfortunately delayed. The prize money is independent of the size of the team, so it'll be distributed evenly between you.
Cool.
But the decision to remain or go should
So if there's
usually be
5
a
of
team.
us, and it was $5,000, and one of us went, yeah, that'll do.
Yes, you won't get any replacement members should someone decide to leave, of course. It doesn't usually happen that way. Usually when someone's convinced they should leave, then the team usually disbands at that point.
Cool.
So teamwork's the goal.
Yes. Yes,
Excellent.
definitely.
Not cool. I mean, cool.
There aren't many people who could overcome these challenges on their own.
Right. So teamwork. Yay, team.
You certainly have an interesting team from what I've seen of your
Great teamwork here. Good
backstories.
team stuff.
You're weird.
I would say the level of sarcasm in your voice is easily picked up.
Wasn't trying to hide it.
Excellent. This is going to work well.
I mean, he's kind of weird, but he's like, I don't know, I quite like you're weird. You're just weird.
Great. Nice.
You're quiet.
I think you're all lovely.
That's great! Nice to meet you too.
I've had worse things said about me.
Helping. Wonder what the other guy's like. Is it a guy or a girl?
It is, ma'am. Mr. Oh, sorry, I'll have to check when I pull
Yeah.
it.
I mean, we'll meet him, right? So, no worries.
Yes, I'm not sure exactly when he's due, but hopefully not too long. Okay, so you pull into a fairly unassuming looking building, kinda middle of nowhere, halfway up a reasonably large hill. It's kind of, from the outside, it's basically just a box. She drives into some underground parking, where she pulls up the car. And, right. Do you want to eat before I show you 2 rooms, or
Sure.
would you like? I can have someone take your luggage up to your rooms, and
I'm quite capable of doing that. Thank you very much, sir.
okay, I'll have someone show you 2 rooms and your room, and then back to the dining area.
Thank you. It would be nice to freshen up before dining.
Okay.
Likewise.
Ladies?
Also, I'd like to see if I've got my top hat in my bag.
Oh man, I'm starving.
Straight to the dining area then.
Do we have to wait?
I suppose not.
Is there a bar?
Yes.
Excellent.
Are you coming?
Yes, I'll be coming with you.
Cool.
She leads you sort of out of, as you're walking, she leads you out of the parking area into a lift, goes up a floor into a what turns out to, so far fairly unassuming. It's all sort of the parking area is just concrete and pillars.
Yep.
You step out of this lift into a sort of reception hall that looks like it should be out of some fancy London or New York hotel. It is very shiny,
Cool.
very artfully decorated. This is showing off the money, but it's not diamonds on every available surface showing off the money. It's tasteful.
Odds to the outside of the building, which looks
Completely odds to the outside of the building, which looks totally unassuming and so forth. It is quite dark colours still. Quite a lot of shadows around in the corners, but that kind of thing.
It's like your kind of place.
Low lighting.
Oh, don't judge a book by its cover.
But, yes, very, very, very artfully decorated place. There's a few people around. There's a young man. She heads over towards a sort of desk, sort of like a standard hotel reception desk, really. There's a young man leaning against it, chatting to another man behind the desk. She comes up to him. Kanuna. Yes. So this young man, like 18, looks kind of Native American.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly sort of reasonably athletic build, but not anything particularly special. Would you show these two gentlemen to their rooms? I can put their luggage down, and then when they're ready, bring them down to the dining hall. Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, if you want to come with me, just get back to the lift and I'll show you up. If you want, well, all the rooms on the second floor. There's not that many of them. Lead you off. So, what do you think so far? I mean, not that you've had much time being here yet, I guess.
It's a very nice building.
Yeah, certainly.
Is the entire
nice one.
is the decor throughout as nice as the lobby?
Pretty well. The nice bits, staff quarters, maybe not quite so fancy, but that's just kind of how things are.
staff quarters. Do you sleep here?
He's sort of saying this as he walks away.
Oh.
So, by that point, they've already apped the going into the lift.
Seems of an unusual building to have looking like this. Do you get many visitors from out of town?
Well, it's not really a hotel in a sort of normal way. It's Mr. Vostok owns it, so it
makes more sense.
He's set it up how he wants it, I guess.
Does he
just to make
host
sure
guests regularly?
Well, I think he's trying to ramp things up here. Starting off with the new show and everything. So, yeah, we've had. You're not the first. Perception empathy rolls.
Oh, the first roll of the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't open my dice bag with the gloves on.
The first roll of the game.
Oh, well, this is not going to go well because I don't think I have any empathy whatsoever.
Awesome. So it's 7
Did you say perception?
Perception empathy.
So it's not out yet.
7 or more tends to count double, and then you can add 1 point for every epic.
I got 3 successes.
So
job.
I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There I am thinking, done. I think I'm doing well.
Funnily enough, the person who specialised in social stuff has a reasonable perception empathy score. Yeah, okay. So, he mentions that he's very uncomfortable. It's kind of like you get the sense like he feels he's made a mistake by mentioning that, as he very quickly then follows up. Says, yeah, but then they're not around anymore. They did what they could and then went. So, so I'll take you up to your rooms. I guess you're going to be starting some stuff tomorrow. Not the big thing. I've been told there's going to be like 5 of you, so someone isn't here yet or something. I don't know. I don't get told everything.
That's what we've been told as well.
Great. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Chitrita will know more about what you're doing. I just kind of help out where I can. Yeah. Door opens. There's a nice sort of hotel hallway rooms, less grandiosely decorated as you probably would expect from the it's just a hallway. And he shows you to a couple of rooms. Just basically, he'll go in, open the door, point out that the key's already in there, and say, you can lock up and everything. Show you each to your own rooms. They're both pretty similar. Can everyone roll me legend, actually?
Ooh, roll your legend.
Yep, so just roll legend dice.
No successes.
Oh, so exciting.
1.
I got 3 successes.
Nice.
Sam?
1.
Okay, cool.
I win!
Yes, you win something.
We don't know what it is.
$100!
Piano jumps on you.
No.
My whole weakness. Pianos.
Did not see that coming.
So, yes. So you get shown into these rooms. They are reasonably fancy hotel rooms. Not exactly, out of this world.
I come from a stately home, so of course,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reasonably nice. All the money over here. All the money. All these rich Norse. All these rich
Wish
Norse
my
types.
butler was here. Oh, thieves.
It's reasonably nice.
Opens a suitcase up,
ensuite,
butler.
etc. Standard kinds of things. Desk. It's very much done in quite a classical style of like fancy 1950s, 1960s style.
Oh, so a little bit like my stately home.
Even down to like you'll notice that the phone, the telephone is a it appears to be an actual
Yeah.
ring dial thing.
The Shining vibe from this
I
place.
was going to say, I'm starting to feel a little bit more uncomfortable now. It's just a telephone that did it.
It's that kind of thing. There's like the desk has sort of paper and stationery on it. Pens probably has like a fountain pen on there. Not you had a which one who had a really fancy pen? Oh, no,
That
it was Roger
was
who had
Roger.
a really fancy pen.
Yeah,
It's not as fancy as Roger's really fancy pen. But whatever.
Yeah.
It is
You will.
yeah, it is. They're quite nice. It's, solid wood furniture.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff.
So he shows us into our room.
Shows you into your room, leaves you to.
I sort of start to fumble with some money. Because, he's a bellboy, so I need some money. So
You can.
I get out a $20 bill and just, kind of hand it over
Okay,
to him.
he looks genuinely rather surprised, and he wasn't really expecting this, but thank you, sir.
He's an upper class British person.
After all. And I thank him for his service. Thank you very much for your service. And I close the door in his face. And then I am going to proceed to check my room because I'm suspicious.
Okay.
Because I feel like
exactly my thought.
Purely because I feel like it's going to be part of the game show because it seemed from the unassuming outside of the building to going inside to what we fit. I feel like we've walked onto a set. So
Clever.
Yeah.
So I want
Fine.
to check my room.
Okay. What are you doing?
I think I'm going to be searching around, so I'm probably most likely to use perception and awareness. I feel
investigation.
Investigation.
I'm going to not wanting to.
Yeah, actually, investigation. Yeah, I could. Yeah, because what I'm going to do is I'm going around like sort of the edges of the TV, and I'm looking for like any hidden cameras, basically that kind of thing.
Take out your monocle.
Okay, yeah, so you can search for
Please tell me you don't have a relic monocle.
I really wish I did have
I really should have gone with that. But you didn't. No.
No, I didn't.
Relic, monocle, and
Got
top hat.
Epic perception.
So I got 4 successes.
Oh, good.
Nice. Okay. And what are you doing?
Yeah, not wanting to seem stingy, I equally give $20 over.
He's having a good night.
I considered the discomfort that he showed at being given the initial 20 and weighed that up against not wanting to appear tight and decided to go with giving him 20. That's,
Yeah, he's not really. He wasn't really expecting this, but you know, apparently this is the thing. Okay, great, fine. He thanks
The
you.
problem is he's going to expect it when he gets shut the door.
I might give him some bubblegum. Feel like I'm home alone. No, I'm not that bad, honest.
Anyway, yes.
yeah,
Okay.
walk into my room and unbeknownst to me, with you doing the same, I'm going to look for signs of surveillance, so microphones and cameras.
Especially in the shower.
Awareness, perception, was that?
Or
Perception, investigation, probably rather than awareness, would be appropriate for this kind of thing.
Oh dear, no investigation.
That is kind of the role it is, because you're not so
Yeah.
much looking for noticing that thing. Is it's knowing what you need to notice is kind of the important stuff.
Okay,
So yeah, perception, investigation. You don't get to apply your epics if you don't have any traits. Ones do not subtract successes in this, but if you roll ones and no successes,
you fumble.
so you don't
Oh,
so you get 1 success.
one success. Okay.
Cool. How did you do?
I got 4 successes.
Thank you. Right. So, no, nothing you can find. They're either not there or more well hidden than you know what's
Reasonably relaxed. I'll go into the bathroom, splash cold water on my face, freshen up, and think about heading out.
Okay.
Into the night.
Into the
hotel.
Into the corridor.
the corridor. there is a window, so you know there were windows on the outside of this building. Actually, you know, looks like out in the daylight, it'd be quite a nice view over the countryside. Yes, you are having a look around. 4 successes. Okay. You do find a camera. It's not something you can easily move because it's built in.
Mm-hmm.
It's built into the frame of the mirror, which is over the desk, so it would have a good view of you doing whatever you're doing actually on the desk. Doesn't look like it's got a very good view of like a lot of the room. It's quite focused on there. Maybe there are others that you haven't spotted.
Excellent.
You find that one.
Something got a lot sinister, didn't it?
But you know what? Like I said, my character was predicting that, judging by the outside of the building, this was potentially so it's half expecting to find something. For now, he's gonna assume that there's no more in the room, but understandably, he's just doing it for his own peace of mind. He puts something over it and then gets changed.
It's a briefcase. Or
No,
his top hat.
You will see in a minute when I come back down to the hall.
Okay. Yep. You're getting changed for when you're out. Okay. So you've already come out first. So Kanuna's there, standing by the lift. Shall we wait for Mr. Oh, was it Mr. No.
And as he's struggling to open the door, go, Percival, I'll be right out.
Mr. Percival.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, a couple of minutes and I come strolling out, and
Okay.
I won't describe what I look like until we get downstairs.
Okay. Fine.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun. Cool. Okay, so yes, he brings you back down to what you presume is the ground floor. Well, what is marked as the ground floor. So you come out into the same reception lobby. and he leads you through that into a not especially large. So this whole place doesn't give the feel of being particularly big. You haven't seen. So when I say it's a very well appointed entrance hall, reception hall, it is, but it's not like the kind of space you'd need if you had like 100 rooms and you needed to cope with people coming in and out, that kind of thing. It's more.
It's more of a sort of a personal sort of hotel rather than a.
Yeah, exactly.
Or as my character thinks, a set.
A set, yes, exactly. Which is a set made up to be
A hotel.
a sort of small scale, nice hotel. So yes, he leads you into sort of through there and into a small, basically sort of restaurant type setup. There's 5 tables, and these two are already in there with Chutrita. So meanwhile, you have been led into the this I say it's sort of, say 5 tables, a door off to one side, sort of say start, and you will Teresa will invite you to take a seat, and she'll just go off. We've got some. We have some standard menus if you prefer, or Mr. Vostok does insist on keeping quite a wide range of foods on site. So if you fancy something specific, then
I'll have a bottle of scotch.
very well.
For dinner?
Does your couch have in a furnace?
No.
Awesome.
No, but
I'm just a
might do.
grungy chick in the 90s.
Fine, you're just getting drunk. Okay.
Are you Jessica Jones?
A little bit.
I was going to say, the more I hear of it, the more I'm thinking
little
Jessica Jones.
A little bit just
Mixed
more-
with Lara Croft.
Slightly more murder happy than Jessica Jones, I think.
I'm not murder happy. I just.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
you know, it's just Jessica Jones when she's being controlled.
You're wearing someone's skin.
Yeah, we haven't noticed that.
don't know
You
that.
don't know
Actually,
that. No. What it's going to? It would take a perception roll far greater than you could make
Yeah.
to
Or
notice that.
Oh.
or the unlidded eye.
Even using the unlidded eye probably won't
He's
reveal
a
that.
wizard.
He's a wizard. A wizard did it.
Yep.
The unlidded eye would reveal that there is magic about her, and that's something, and she has these effects about her, but it won't
Could this be
reveal.
magic? No.
It won't necessarily reveal. It's unlikely to reveal the specific nature of the
Yeah,
thing,
okay.
and you haven't encountered this kind of artifact before.
Yeah, because it's Aztec-y.
And somebody's skin.
It's really. That god is possibly the most terrifying of the Aztecs.
I like the god of disgust. She is quite good as well. Just a god of disgusting things. Because Aztecs.
Aztecs. Yeah.
Whereas there's a god of music in Greek and a god of beauty in Norse. There's the god of flaying in Aztec.
Yes. Anyway, so yes. Would you like me? Should I go and get the menus?
Just a burger or something is fine. Do you have a milkshake?
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, that'd be
Yes?
great.
Yeah, sure.
Scotch.
Anything to eat?
Ice in the scotch?
Okay.
Are these guys back yet?
So yeah, she has time to go off and come back with your drink. Actually, she is better at that. She has actually some experience of being a hostess, which I'm not. So she'll ask you if you want anything to drink. And actually, you've just said milkshake. What am I talking about? I'm
Fries and bacon and whatever the
I'll
additives
wake up
are,
at some
onion
point.
You
rings and
did
stuff.
the chips
Pile
in the
of, like,
milkshake.
just-
Oh, kill myself.
She's definitely going to dip.
So yes, you get
I hadn't thought of it, but now that you
milkshake,
say that.
scotch, and yeah, she will. I expect the others will be down in a moment. I can sit with you if you'd like to ask me anything, or leave you to talk between yourselves.
Please don't.
She'll take a seat with you then.
I'll down my first scotch. Ah, that's good, OJ.
So you never thought about playing yourself?
No, I don't really have what it takes, I think.
Oh, okay. So what do you do for fun? You're allowed to have fun, right?
Yes. I enjoy reading. Sometimes going to the town, catch a movie if there's when I have time. The kind of things I'm doing tends to keep me working on hours. So usually I tend to be doing things that are easily interruptible.
Right to your job, huh?
It's one of those jobs when you're on, you're on. So
There.
I usually have a few days between things. But,
What about the rest of the stuff? They alright?
yeah. I think they're still. Some of them are still getting their bearings a bit.
Okay, so they're new.
They're new, or those who've been around a bit longer. Things have changed up quite a bit in terms of how things are working, how things are structured, and
Okay.
so still people are settling in, I think.
Good to have friends in the kitchen though, right?
Always useful. And
Unless you don't eat.
Hey, I'm eating. I've got ice. It counts.
At this point, the other two are
at
right.
this point, the other two arrive
Okay.
with the young man who
So when my character walks in,
shows them in.
what
and
you
then,
see is not what you expect. So you expect to see me obviously well dressed and that, but actually what I come in is essentially military fatigues. I'm wearing a tight top, so you can see I'm quite well built. And what you know,
I do declare.
and on my arm you see a silver arm ring wrapped around. And I'm wearing combats, so I'm not well presented or well dressed. Obviously, you guys
No top hat.
no top.
In fact, I'll say no top hat.
And just apologise and say it got crushed on transport. I do apologise. It was.
You know what? Fix that. Scotch. Glass.
So we're all on a team, right? So
Pour you out of scotch and give it to you. Scotch.
Yeah, she probably has brought in more glasses than just for you, figuring that you might want to share the scotch with other people, and if not, they're probably going to want drinks.
And I kind of shiver at it and then go, "Do you have a whiskey? Proper whiskey."
What would you like me to ask? So we'll say we have the
Do you know what I could murder right now? Some cheese on toast. If you wouldn't mind, that would be fantastic.
I'm sure the chef can manage that.
You can't beat whiskey into your toast.
I'd quite like to see the menu.
Very well. She
Cheese on toast.
Everyone's ordering food. I'm just.
see, I'm getting
Okay.
that, but mine
Would
comes
you like
with
anything
like
to drink?
a burger and bacon and stuff, onion rings,
An orange juice, please.
fries.
So yes, she goes
Cheese on
away,
toast.
comes back
Cheese on
with
toast.
Yeah.
Whiskey as requested. It's not like the best vintage, but what vintage isn't the right word for whiskey, is it?
No.
But it's not the best whiskey, but it's not bad.
It's reasonable. Thank
It's
you very much.
reasonable whiskey. Your orange juice. And
You
menu
perplex
for you.
me.
Don't worry, I finished the scotch you rolled over to
something
me as
up,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a
Not
quick
one
look
to
through
waste
and
alcohol.
pick something reasonably middle of the road.
Fine.
Nice, but not overly complex. I'm not going for the lobster.
Yeah. So yes, she then.
I love the idea of just a middle class Finnish man just in here. Well, I go for the lobster. Oh no, it's too upper class.
Given that the top sitting next to you is just ordered cheese on toast.
But he would be humble, wouldn't he? He'd be like, oh no, I couldn't eat that. No.
Anyway, yes. So yes, she comes back.
I love it.
I can. She'll again just sort of repeat what she was saying before. I can leave you to discuss amongst yourselves. Or I can sit with you if you'd like to. If you'd like to ask me anything else, so something's up to you, really.
It sounds like you work fairly hard. I'm willing to let you take your leave if no one else has any more questions for you.
You'll notice Edward shifting slightly, not comfortable enough to talk openly. So thank you for your time.
I will.
Or read a book. Or something.
I'll be around, but in case I'm needed. But in case you think of anything you need or anything like that. Cannon will probably be by the reception as well. If you.
Ah, yes, the 18-year-old can look after us.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Well, he's not old enough to drink, is he? So there's no scotch involved.
He is in my country.
That's true.
We Brits drink young.
Yes.
Anyway, she will take her leave and leave you to talk about stuff. After a little while, she'll bring in food and once again ask you if you fancy it.
Scotch.
But I finished my whiskey.
It's getting there. It's about half empty now. I'm drinking a lot.
She'll probably leave you with the bottle you've got. Rather
Cool.
That is an invitation.
And I finished my whiskey, but I turn to you and go, could I trouble you for a cup of tea?
Very well. And yes, she'll go out and
Thank you very much.
you will get, when she comes back, tea with milk. Because they've realised, because they do actually know how to cater for.
Good.
And a slice of lemon.
No, there's no slice of lemon.
No,
She doesn't assume that she's going
I'm
to
British,
assume
dear. I don't.
you want it in the British style,
Of course.
not in the American style.
Most definitely. I drink out of one of these lovely mugs.
Hey.
It's like plug there, yeah. Yes, you can get a mug that you can buy for yourself off Redbubble if you so choose.
That's what we need then, is God by Games Scotch.
Something to ask Pete about.
Can you make us some labels for Scotch?
Okay,
dear.
yes, great. So, yeah. Talk amongst yourselves as much as you wish to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or don't.
I like the wardrobe change. You look much less like a pompous prick now. It looks good.
I can guarantee you, I'm definitely a pompous prick.
Yeah. I like your honesty.
However,
So what do we call you?
Edward.
Yeah? Cool.
Ed.
Nice. You said Edward.
No, Edward.
Okay.
Thank you. Only,
Scotch.
only my friends shorten my name, and I don't have many of those, so
Fair enough.
Well, let's see how long we last, eh?
could be interesting. Of course, you are all aware that we're already in the game, right?
Say what now?
Yeah?
I found a camera in my room.
Fry.
That's creepy.
Milkshake.
I
That's
checked, but I didn't
disgusting.
find anything.
But that's creepy.
That was disgusting, and yes, it is creepy.
I didn't sign on for no peep show.
I'll pass, thank you.
I didn't sign on for no peep show.
Well, it didn't seem to be, to me, that the Ark would catch anything that could be untoward unless you like to dance in the middle of the room, in which case...
Anyway,
More
no
for
one's
you.
watching.
Well, someone is definitely watching. See without
Well then!
Well, they...
Did we sign contracts before going on this?
No, you've not signed anything yet.
Yet.
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
kind of glad I didn't choose to get changed now.
Where's the camera?
Well, my one was in a mirror.
Do
But
you reckon there's any in here then?
I would say so. Do you reckon-
Suddenly I just freeze.
In fact, they could probably hear this whole entire conversation.
Fry. Milkshake.
However, I thought it pertinent to warn you that what I found.
That's good, you.
Interesting.
You're very kind, and I'm creeped out. I mean, we're already in the hotel from The Shining, so...
I mean, you had to suspect something. The outside of the building is just a grey block, and then we come inside and it looks like this.
I've been to abandoned warehouses when there's raves inside. Alright.
I would say this differs slightly from a rave on the inside of a warehouse. Only slightly, though.
Well, there's only 4 of us here for a start. Don't they usually have more than that?
True.
So when you go to these raves, do you go with your friends?
No, not really.
Oh.
Not really.
What do you do when you
It's
get
my
there?
cheese and toast come, by the way.
Yeah,
okay,
your food.
I'm going to start eating my
Have
cheese
a bit
and
of
toast.
fun, have a bit of,
Nom, nom,
you know,
nom.
party and stuff like that.
Okay, what do you do for fun?
I like music and TV and scotch.
I can see that.
Scotch?
Yeah, you are going to be feeling this. Quite severe.
That's why I'm talking to them.
I slide my glass back across.
I see you're a man of culture as well.
Yeah. If I'm going to be being filmed tonight, I want to be able to get a good night's sleep. I'll just knock it back.
They're going to watch us when we sleep, aren't they?
Most definitely.
Creepy.
Indeed.
Isn't that kind of boring? I mean, who would watch that?
Depends if you sleep naked or not.
I'm not going to think about it.
That's all I think about.
Again, Edward sits very uncomfortably in the corner.
Anyway,
How's your dinner?
it's lovely, thank you.
So you're from Finland, right?
Yes, indeed.
How's that? Cold?
Yes, it's.
She said the same thing as me. What a world we live in.
Are you drunk?
You're
I love it. Scotch?
very, very knowledgeable of Finland, I see.
Yeah.
Have you visited?
No, my dad did, but I haven't visited.
Isn't it kind of like Canada?
More European.
It is in Europe.
Okay.
We have a similar climate, I led to
Yeah,
believe.
like snow and trees and
Yes.
bears.
Yes. Fewer
What do you do for
Canadians,
fun?
though.
What do you do for fun?
I very much enjoy skiing.
Really?
And shooting.
Cool. Do you do any tricks?
No, cross-country skiing.
Oh, okay.
The Finnish way.
Do you-
No,
do you-
not jumping
Do you shoot
or...
and ski?
Yes.
Like at the same time?
Interleaved. That's,
Oh, bless me.
the,
You mean you stop
the
and
the
then
biathlon.
shoot things? Right, okay.
So yes, I ski
Did
to
you
a
shoot a
certain point.
buffalo?
The biathlon.
Oh, right. God, this scotch must be getting to me.
It's good scotch. Any scotch is good scotch. And this scotch
Yeah,
is
so
scotch.
long distance skiing, bit of target practice. So
Are you good?
yes, I'd like to think so. That's,
Do you think that will come in the game?
Shooting.
I wait to see.
It is America.
What's that supposed to mean?
Americans like, oh, you're American. Oh, Americans like guns.
I'm afraid, whilst I was aware of the existence of the show, I never really took the time to watch it. Was there any shooting in the original series?
No, there wasn't. Okay. No guns, no bladed weapons. Basically, nothing that's got a reasonable chance of accidentally killing someone in a...
That's reassuring to know.
But like, accuracy, that's a good skill. And
Stamina. That's a good skill. Because skiing,
Yes, it
long skis.
Yep.
certainly helped my endurance.
So we're relying on you a lot for this. What about you, Ed? You got any good skills?
Edward.
Oh, sorry, Edward, please. If you don't mind. I have a PhD.
You look very army. Were you in the army?
Yes, I did serve with Her Majesty's Services at one point, yes.
Her Majesty's Services.
Well, of course.
For reference, you probably have an MD, not a PhD.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not American, I'm British. They have PhDs in England.
Medical doctor said PhD? I don't think so.
So maybe someone could tell us.
Answer in the comments.
Yeah, there you
What
go.
degree do
What-
your doctors have?
Is it a PhD or is it an MD? Yeah, anyway, so yeah, I'm medically qualified. Yes, I was trained and I joined the military in a university program and I became a surgeon.
Well, that sounds like a really helpful thing that we can have here.
So you can run, you can, think.
Well, yes, most people can think.
Some people maybe less than others.
Well, yes, there are different levels
Depends
of
how
intelligence.
drunk they are.
Ah!
However,
Gosh.
unlike my friend here, I have no affinity with weapons. Think of me as a.
In the army.
Think of me as a conscientious objector.
Quaker.
Well, no, I prefer the sort of older styles of combat. I was raised with fencing and so on and so forth. So I
That's swords, right?
swords.
Yeah.
Yes. Varying different.
Like
types.
the thin, snappy ones.
Rapier. Yes. Well, I've also trained in other martial arts that use different types of weapons. But yes, so my preferred style of combat is close. If I was to have to pick a style of combat, weaponry, I had basic training on how to fire the gun in a straight line. But British military maxim is accuracy through volume. So if you're going to fire at a target,
Accuracy. Accuracy.
Oh no, I wasn't accurate. It's accuracy for volume. Fire a lot of bullets in one direction and you'll generally hit a target.
Okay, so different to Finland then.
Yes, different to Finland. He probably hits a single target with a single bullet. I put 30 bullets into and might get one in a target. So,
What martial arts
please,
did you
Herman.
study?
well, multiple martial arts, kenjutsu, jiu-jitsu, multiple other types that you may not have heard of. I've tried a little bit of capoeira as well, a little bit
Is
Brazilian
that the
dancing.
kicky one?
The Brazilian dancing one. I found that I may have been slightly not as agile as I probably needed to be to do that one.
Cool.
What about you? You have this sort of vibe about you. You look sort of like you've been around the world a little bit. And I recognise your name.
No, you don't.
I most certainly do. Who's your parents?
People?
Oh. Your name seems very familiar to me. That's all.
It's a common name. Scotch, anyone? Scotch? Scotch for you!
dare
Scotch
put
for
that in
you! Scotch for you! More scotch! I shout to no one. There's no one here.
Poor walks in and is like, what's going on?
Scotch!
Probably after a little while, Kanuna will walk to the kitchen bit, come back with another bottle of scotch.
No, I've only been in the country for a couple of weeks. Yep, America, land of opportunity.
Yep.
First thing I did, sign up for a game show. Great choice there, Maria. Great choice.
What was you before that, though?
I'm
Making
gardening.
intelligence, well,
I was into gardening.
Just intelligence?
just intelligence.
What kind of gardening?
2 successes.
Oh, you know,
Maria Crowley,
weeding.
missing shortly after her father died. Not like suspiciously missing, just kind of dropped off the radar.
You know,
Having refused any inheritance.
Trees,
yeah,
flowers,
weeding.
grass.
So wait. What was your last
grass.
name again? Crowley?
Yep.
What was her father's name, sorry?
Lord something Crowley. I haven't made note of it.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's fine.
He died a long time
Okay,
ago.
okay.
Can't
Say
remember
Lord.
those sort of things.
Maria Crowley.
Yep, that's me.
Daughter to Lord Crowley.
Martin Crowley. Lord Martin Crowley.
Lord Martin Crowley.
Martin, really?
Yes. What's his name? He's allowed a name. Yeah, that's me. Guilty as charged.
Nobody's seen you.
Yeah, well, you know, stuff happens, doesn't it? Good stuff happens.
It was unfortunate about your father.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Scotch! Scotch for you! Scotch for you!
Noticing the uncomfortableness of the conversation, Edward now withdraws from the side of
Scotch for
questioning.
you! Scotch for the Finnish man!
Thank you, I don't partake.
Great.
You don't drink?
Great.
Um,
Great.
Obviously I drink, but I prefer orange juice.
Oh, sorry. When I said drink, I meant alcoholic beverages.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I'm happy for you to enjoy it, but it's not for me.
Any reason why, or just...
It just doesn't suit my lifestyle.
It's great. Oh, that's John laughing, not my character. I think his character's great. Oh, the quintessential middle class
your,
Finnish man.
your character may be laughing as well.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
drunk.
she's more awkward at this point.
You're-
He just brought up a dead dad.
No.
You've got to be drunk on scotch.
Oh, Scotch. Scotch. What about you, Bubblegum? Well, that wasn't surprising, was it? I set myself up first. No, I'm fine. Thank you. I've got...
Oh, do you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to be like, yeah, no, you know, I'm here for a game. Sounds like a laugh. Good challenge. Get on TV. Get famous. And, yeah. Oh, I can't reach the... The sock's the bottom of the machine. Makes that really annoying straw noise. Yeah, that one.
So, can I just check with you guys? Is everyone here through unsolicited invite? Or did you apply?
Unsolicited how?
Mine just kind of arrived.
Oh, you mean you didn't ask for it? Or...
No.
Assumed it was randomly sent out?
I must admit, I did find the invite odd, shall we say.
Oh, I wasn't doing anything. I mean,
Neither was I.
was, but then I wasn't, so I figured I'd come and play along. Yeah.
This is all kind of spooky.
Oh, is it spooky?
It certainly doesn't
There's
seem...
cameras in the room.
I mean,
Coach
out
and
of
waste.
the four of us, I think you're probably the most spooky.
What makes you say that?
Nothing.
Does anyone have any idea why they might have been picked?
They don't know that!
You said you think it was random. Anyone else have any theories as to?
Well, I mean, I've heard of the game before, seen bits of it, thought it was cool. So when I was like, hey, do you want to go? I'm like, yeah, why not? Right?
Fair enough.
We just all seem from very different walks of life. It seems odd that...
Probably that's what makes it interesting.
Well, isn't that
In
the
general-
point?
Yeah, so if you know much about the show, in the past, the groups have been sort of brought together with different people who wouldn't really necessarily have been anything to each other. Generally, it's they didn't know each other beforehand.
Oh, I don't know. Don't seem that different. I mean, Lord.
Not a lord yet.
I'm not. I was
Okay,
about to say,
fine.
I'm not
Daddy
a-
was a lord.
Te-
Daddy was a lord.
Technically, you would be a lord. If
You're
you
not
accepted your inheritance.
I didn't know. So I'm just me.
Why not?
Because I want it.
Okay, but why are you here again?
Money.
But you didn't accept your inheritance, which presumably is money?
Yep.
Layers.
I'm missing something here. How? What?
You don't need to know, really, do you? Well, you do need to know.
No,
Scotch.
I don't like scotch.
Well, then you... I can't help you.
I've noticed.
I signal for another cup of tea.
It's an empty room.
Oh, is he not over by
It
the
might
bar?
not be.
Well, no, he's out.
I shouted, if you remember. For that.
Yes, he was out.
I think it's very rude to shout, so my character gets up and goes over to and just like sort of gently calls into them and asks for another pot.
he'll come over.
And then I ask for it in a
And then
pot
give him
this
another
time and not
$20
just a
note.
cup.
Cool.
You just beat me to it. I was literally about to say, and he slides him another 20.
Stop sliding people 20s.
Oh, we just, you know.
It's worth a lot more. It's 1998.
Can I get you anything, my lord?
What, do you want $20?
Who doesn't?
Oh. Right, so you have your meal. I think we'll probably let's go around to the morning. Probably. I'm guessing you're going to get Kanuna to show you to your rooms.
Mhm.
As prescribed, they are very nicely appointed. They are rather old-fashioned with the dial phone thing.
Is there any art in the room?
Yes, there will
What
be
is it
some
like?
in the room.
Kind of weird classic oil painting stuff.
Yeah, kind of classic oil painting landscapes.
Tilt the frame. So,
Okay.
and then go to bed.
I'm
Cool.
going to cover that camera that you described to us and then go to bed.
Yeah, you can find a camera in a similar place in your room. Given that you've been told where it is.
Yeah,
Hard to
we've
find
been
out
told.
where
I'll
it is.
recheck and curse myself for not having spotted it the first time around. And cover it.
To be
and-
fair, you didn't really know what you're looking for. It's fairly subtle. Now that he's told you where to look, you can see it. It's got a pretty good view. Basically, it's got a pretty good view of if you were sitting at the desk, or like the desk, what you were doing on the desk, and you, that kind of thing.
Dear diary.
Pretty much. You don't know whether there were others. You didn't spot any of those, but
It's been a long day. I'm going to bed.
okay.
As I say, my character was knackered when he turned up, so he's well and truly asleep.
And I'm drunk, so I'm pretty asleep.
Cool.
Best part is I've probably travelled the least distance.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
John's character was in the
I was in America.
in the country.
Legally.
Yes, that's the
Just about. Given how quickly you had to leave Mexico, the legal part may have been, you may have had.
I got on a donkey.
You may have had to, leave and come back to make sure to get things sorted out once the heat died down a little bit.
Does your downstairs neighbour make fake ID?
Yeah.
So yes, you have a you have a reasonable night's sleep, probably.
Yeah.
What do we roll for
Make a
good
stamina
night's sleep?
roll. Make a stamina.
I am
fortitude roll.
so
No,
asleep.
specifically, John, make a stamina and fortitude roll. Unless you have not drunk a bottle of scotch.
No,
Someone you own.
I was just
Someone's
making.
going to have a hungover.
I was just making.
Well, you underestimate my stamina and my fortune.
Your stamina and fortitude is pretty impressive, so you've got a reasonable chance of coming away from this without having it.
I was just rolling a quick perception check to see how.
Come on,
it went.
Aztecs! Well, that's not good, is it? I got one success,
No.
and then an epic success.
2 successes, yeah, you're feeling a bit crap.
The ones don't cancel anymore?
Ones don't cancel,
Okay.
so 2 successes. But
Dark
still,
sunglasses on for the rest of the
you
day.
did drink a
Ah!
hell of a lot of scotch.
Yes.
You're actually probably still drunk.
A little bit.
A bit.
Enough
So
to know that I should wear the
Might
sunglasses.
make you more personable.
Thanks.
You got epic stamina?
I don't. I have 3 regular stamina, but no epic.
You,
I have epic
you
stamina.
have epic. You're fine. You're probably feeling a bit jet lagged.
Okay.
Basic epic stamina gives you one bod of epic stamina is like you can go for a week without sleep. So while your body clock has not adjusted to the local environment, you don't really care. Local time zone because whatever, you'll sleep eventually.
It's nice to know my character gets a better night's sleep than I do.
So you don't necessarily sleep brilliantly because of the jet lag. But
I would probably say
well
that I
enough
probably
to-
would, though, because being in the military, I've probably been dotted
Sleep
around.
around,
but
and-
also you sleep.
Yeah.
You just need less sleep than
the
some
average.
of the others. I think everyone other than you around this lot has. Yeah, everyone other than you has at least 1 dot in epic stamina. So I'm afraid you're the only one who's suffering from jet lag.
Woohoo, epic stamina.
Also, those two haven't moved that many time zones.
Yeah, that's true.
I slept so well. I rolled a 1 and a 2. Nothing woke me up.
Nothing woke you up.
Nothing
Okay,
at all.
cool. Yeah, so you get up, do your morning things.
Have a shower, sing.
Shower,
I'm walking on sunshine. That's what I'm singing as I shower, because I think if I'm being viewed, people might as well get a good show.
Can Herman hear him through the wall?
No.
Depends how loud am I singing.
It's time to feel good.
Ooh, yeah.
You're just going to be like, oh.
No, I just got my in the shower, just my head against the wall, just water. Wow.
Yeah, the decor does extend into the shower room. You've got this like quite odd looking like neoclassical thing going on where the soap dish is being held up by this bronze minotaur.
Yes.
Neoclassical. I'm in the shower.
That one's for you, Joe.
The rest of you don't. It's just a soap dish. It's still kind of similar sign of style, but there's no minotaur. So yes, you get up, do your thing. You have presumably when you're ready, you'll
Eggs,
down,
bacon,
have
beans.
breakfast.
The biggest fry up you've ever seen.
Pancakes.
Oh, I'm naked.
I'm going to see the pancakes come out and go, typical American.
What?
And I'll say nothing more than that, and I'll just tuck into my...
Pancakes, bacon, syrup, assorted berry things.
I'm just gonna vomit.
I think I'll have porridge and an apple.
What? No cheese on toast?
No, not for breakfast. You can have a big breakfast.
I've got a big breakfast.
That's not a breakfast. This is a breakfast.
I woke
There's
up-
like hash browns and fried eggs.
I've got
and
a very
sausages,
similar
black
breakfast.
pudding. The lot. It's a proper decked out. English,
The big fire.
yeah, a proper decked out, extra triple sized English breakfast. A proper English breakfast with a bottle of HP, which I brought with me because the Americans never have it. Right there.
HP sauce is good sauce.
It's the finest. Was why I always travel with it. Both in my character and in real life.
You might be able to get it through customs as well now in 1998.
Yeah.
So. There you go.
And yeah, there you go. I'm eating my breakfast, commenting on the typical American breakfast. asking for more pots of tea.
I'm wearing sunglasses.
And you're wearing sunglasses.
Yes,
And vomiting.
Sunglasses.
I'm not vomiting.
Not actually vomiting, just kind of
Vomiting at the candy machine. Anyway.
I'm feeling judged.
What
I
are you
don't
gonna
really care.
do? No. What are you gonna do?
Like a pint of orange juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
With bits in.
Oh.
Personally, don't like orange juice, but yeah, fine.
Our Finnish friend does that.
Yeah.
He said as much last night when I asked him to get
Cheers.
drinking.
You need to
Cheers.
learn some Finnish phrases just to bring out every now and again.
Cool. Yep. So yeah, breakfast happens. Chitrita will take you off after breakfast. She'll take you off to sort of an office room. Looks like kind of like a office room isn't quite the right description. More like a meeting room.
Mhm.
Yeah. Table, kind of similar to the space we're sitting in
Well,
a way.
there we go.
Bigger screen. Bigger screen up there. Huge, great screen on the wall. Dark at the moment.
Probably is a huge screen because it'd have to be set into the wall because it'd be about
Yep.
this deep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. It's about to say, I forgot that actually, it probably wouldn't be a flat screen like that.
Could be a projector.
Could be a projector.
One of those
You know-
classic ones.
Do you remember in school with the
Yeah.
glass? You put the glass on and it
Not no HP.
Possibly actually would be a projector.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see there's clearly sort of a space on the wall that can go up. Actually, looks like it is a sort of whiteboard.
What the hell are you doing?
She's making shadow animals
Oh,
when there are no
God.
shadows.
There's a projector.
Yes, but it's not on.
Oh.
You can see the projector, you can see the screen that's going to go on. It also looks like that will probably actually there's
I
like
position
white-
myself
Just-
approximately where I think I might be slightly in the way.
Just limbering up for
Yeah.
top quality shadow animals.
so you're going to get your briefing from Mr. Vostok and you're going to be shadow animals.
Only if I get bored.
It's like an Ace Ventura.
Anyway, yes, and there's like whiteboard markers and stuff. So, but yes, she's brought you in and
What?
has essentially this is the point of signing the paperwork.
Mhm.
So she'll go through talk you through the paperwork. Essentially, it's a fairly chunky set of paperwork. So it's sort of 3, say, separate bits, which cover things like essentially one of them is a waiver for injury, but also includes in the same bit
Accidental death.
that while you are not basically while you acknowledge that you may be injured, that basically any medical
It's not his
costs.
fault.
So basically, they will pay medical costs,
Okay.
but you're not allowed to try and
They'll
charge
pay
anyone
for it, but we can't sue them for it.
You can't sue them or try and, well, to an extent, bring criminal charges. So it's sort of covering them from the point of view of you're saying you know you're getting into a potentially dangerous thing,
situation.
and you are doing so willingly. So
Yep.
and so on and so forth.
Occupational hazard.
You're
Yeah,
gonna-
pretty much.
Search it for mention of cameras in the rooms.
There is another one that talks about the filming,
Ah.
which is specifically talking about. So she'll describe these quite briefly, kind of as I am. You can go through and read through them in detail if you want. They will basically cover what she's saying, just with more appropriate
Legal words.
and careful definitions. Essentially, there will be cameras around while you are on the site. You will be told at this point you'll be told that the start and stop times of when they are going to be actually
Active.
and
Yep.
recording anything, and basically you can assume that
When are those?
In between those times,
For no reason.
those will be dependent on the task.
okay,
but
cool.
you know, when we start to, we'll be shortly before you start your briefing until one way or another it's over.
Does the one about dangerous circumstances list any examples?
Possibly, if it's appropriate for the.
Okay.
But yeah, it seems pretty comprehensive. It's to the point of, if you are going through it, they will within the scope of the setup make reasonable efforts to ensure that there are no potentially lethal hazards.
So I will read the first bit, get bored, skip to the bit where it says about dangerous stuff, read the dangerous stuff to see if it's anything interesting, and then be like, yeah.
It seems to basically they are actually trying to cover themselves if you go and get yourself killed.
Yeah.
But the way it's phrased is kind of
Boring.
yeah. Boring. For anyone who's actually more carefully reading it, it's phrased so that they are not. They are not.
Liable.
Oh, no, I was going to say they are not protected if they deliberately try and kill you, as it were. If they deliberately set something up where you are going to get badly injured, then yeah, without giving you without there being an option to avoid it, then. But you know, should you go and run out in front of a car because you don't want to get caught by the person chasing you, that's your call.
Okie dokie.
Essentially.
Is there any dodgy small print that we see while we're reading this?
This whole thing.
Make an intelligence and academics roll if you want to try and.
Academics? Why couldn't it be intelligence investigation?
I do
because
I do that
academics
as
is
well.
the appropriate
I'm
level.
quite a smart.
Yeah,
lady.
the filming one says sort of start and stop times, and we'll also mention that there are certain basically.
No, I see nothing.
I got one success.
I got no
3.
successes.
Nothing particularly stretched out. I mean, this is quite an unusual thing in that this waiver is really quite significant. Also, you'll notice you will be able to tell that the sort of filming one is quite comprehensive in terms of they can use pretty much whatever they film between those times, with exceptions. With basically the only exception is essentially toilet breaks.
What's the
Oh, nice.
difficulty?
Hmm?
What's the difficulty?
Scion means you always need 7s on
Cool.
the dice.
And do 10s count as 1 or 2?
10s count as double.
So
Cool.
you got
4.
4.
Five.
Wow. So the bored character.
Bored.
Ooh.
Well, I've had
Imminent
to-
death.
Well, I've
Bored.
had to sign these things already before, you see, so...
Not quite one like this.
No.
Stuff about filming things.
That's
yes,
why I got bored.
This is, but yeah, but certainly not one
Plus,
like
you know,
this.
Do you have love hearts in
these
your
guys have
signature?
already, you know, established that, oh yeah, she's a bit of a... Yeah, okay.
Do you have
So
love
I'm
hearts in
like,
your signature?
What? No.
Do you have love hearts dotting the eyes?
No, stars.
Of course, obviously.
Why do you think
Anyway.
they picked a name with an I in it?
So, right, you two did a bit better. Yeah, I mean, from what you can say, this seems to be reasonably comprehensive. You're not sure how well some of the injury stuff would stand up in court if you could demonstrate that
Or if we would.
they were at all at fault for it, because contract law doesn't override criminal law.
Yep.
At least it doesn't in this country, and I'm assuming it's the same in the States.
Leave your answer in the comments below.
Leave your answer in the comments below if you know, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. The point is that it's fairly comprehensive, but might not hold up as well as it looks like it's trying to in court. But other than that, it's not. There aren't any sort of hidden gotchas of unless you do X, at which point we can do whatever we want, or
Yeah.
you know, if you do Y. There is. There's possibly. There's probably something you do find in the filming one which seems to slightly contradict the thing about not filming in the toilets. but it is sort of if relevant action is going on.
They censor it, like Big Brother.
Dragging someone into the toilets to do something off camera doesn't necessarily work.
Okay. And I'm going, hotel toilets don't have a window, don't turn the light on. Sorted.
Oh, don't turn the light on. Ah, clever.
They most
Do you have
definitely-
shadow or
No.
or sun?
No.
Yeah, okay. So fine, you don't need to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they totally won't have infrared.
I was just about to say they completely do not have night vision ones. Of
course not.
Totally. Why would they invest in night vision cameras? So yes,
Has concerns.
you get those. Unless anyone particularly objects to anything, you can ask her. She seems to have reasonable grasp of what these are.
I just sign mine.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's nothing that I wasn't particularly expecting, given my knowledge of the show. So yeah, sign away.
I also sign.
Sorted. Done.
Maria Crowley.
awesome. So yes, you sign.
Does your signature have skulls on?
No, it's actually quite fancy. Quite eloquent.
Okay.
Almost looks similar to mine.
So she'll tell you that there is a they do have this task for you. She's hoping that your fifth teammate will be here by this evening. So the briefing will be at 6 o'clock this evening.
Cool.
Okay.
You're free to do as you will until then. She can help you with whatever that means, introducing you to if you want to talk to people or if you have any questions about setup and facilities or anything like that. You can try and ask them or introduce you to the right people, or do as you will.
How's your book?
Progressing.
Good.
Are we allowed to leave the facility?
Yes, providing you're back by 6 for the briefing.
Okay. And is there anything out there that I should be aware of? Bears or the like?
It's going to be a thing.
It's New England. I don't actually know what the relevant
Wildlife is.
for-
Leave your comments in the answers below.
Leave your comments in the answers below. Yeah, she'll.
Lions, tigers.
Pretty sure there's
Oh
not
my.
tigers.
No, they're only in Kenya.
Badgers?
Yeah.
Really scary badgers. Anyway, yes.
Badger.
She'll kind of she'll probably actually take a moment to recalibrate her answer, because she was about to say something about not too much around the town and then realised that maybe that's not what you're talking about. She will give you. She will answer you. She'll give you some appropriate warnings about things. I don't think there's anything particularly.
Really pissed off raccoon.
It's mostly, I think, round there. Snakes are the things you need to watch out for. Stepping on. Yeah, if you're stepping over something, if there's a snake behind it, you could get bitten. That's potentially quite dangerous. There are some poisonous snakes around.
There could be some really dodgy mushrooms as well.
But I don't think there's any particularly large, particular risk of large carnivores in sort of
This immediate vicinity.
semi-urban.
Yep.
Even if you're going out, you're still reasonably near a town.
Okay.
I just asked if there's a gym.
There's one in the town, yes.
In the town? It's a long walk.
There
Walk.
Could get a car, I suppose.
Well, you can take
Taxi.
one of the cars if you need to. Just I can get you the key for one of them.
The Americans drive on the wrong side of the road, so I'm not entirely sure I'm capable of doing so.
I'll drive.
I'll stay in the hotel, thank you. And then I laugh and then say, yes, you can drive me. Gives us a chance to talk.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hungover. I don't know what I'm doing.
Would you like to join me for a walk? Some fresh air?
Yeah, why not?
Fantastic.
Race, yeah?
Oh, you're so funny. Oh, gosh.
Are you still drunk?
I just love the finish man. That's John, by the way, not my character. I love the finish man.
Are you still drunk?
Is John drunk?
No. Oh, dear. Yeah, anyway.
Cool. Okay, so you can head off for a walk. Do you want to roleplay any of your conversations on your walk?
Okay. I think you should.
It's up to you.
I don't know how good I'll be because I'm pretty hungover right now.
If
You
you,
can
just
try.
want to talk at her, I'm sure that would be fine.
You can just talk at me.
So, I'm really keen to get to the. I don't think we're here necessarily by pure chance. It's,
What
It's-
makes you say that?
it just seems too convenient to have been picked out from the entire world. I have no connection to the show. I never even watched it when it was first aired. I've not done anything that I can think of that would necessarily get me on a list to be picked.
Neither
Is it
have I.
literally a worldwide lottery as to who gets picked?
I have no idea. I literally arrived in this country about a month ago. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe the point of it is it's so random, it's random. So,
Could well be.
they've just randomly typed numbers into a computer. Or maybe it's a massive conspiracy and we're all part of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not special. I don't know about you.
Nothing that you feel sets you apart in any way whatsoever.
Nope.
Okay. I'll proceed to walk in silence.
You have a pleasant day's walk. I'm guessing you're probably coming back before 6 o'clock, unless you
Yes.
don't want. Unless you don't want to.
They've absconded.
We just keep walking
Day one.
forever.
Well, I was more thinking that 6 o'clock is
Quite a long way off.
quite a long way off. You might be getting
Yeah.
hungry before then.
I'll get back.
You know, depending on where you're going, you could walk down to. You have plenty of time. You could walk to the town or.
Have
No, mainly
little
through
conversation as we go, like, well, not banter, just kind of, ooh,
I
a tree.
don't think Maria does banter.
No. I like to think that your character would be like, have you heard of the eucalyptus leaves? I don't know.
I don't think they have.
I don't know.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's Oz, but I mean...
That's more Roger.
trees, evergreens.
Just explaining the genus
This
of
is a
the...
pine tree. That is a pine tree.
In my homeland, we have this tree.
That is not a pine tree. I don't know what it is.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I'll aim to be back sort of mid-afternoon so I can get a bite to eat and not go too long without food.
Great, fine. And you have epic stamina, so you know you're.
I don't need to eat. I can just keep drinking scotch.
You can go for a while. You do need to eat sometimes.
Eventually.
You don't have the.
I had a fry up this morning, so...
Yeah, true. So you're fine.
Scotch it is.
Just one meal a day, and you'll be fine. Yeah, because epic stamina does that for you. Cool. You two.
We're cruising in the car.
So you're going down
Yep.
to the town.
to the town.
What are you doing?
She's driving.
Yep.
You nattering, talking.
Sure.
Do you have a driver's license?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even, ask that or anything.
You just said yes!
If you don't have a legal driver's license, they
I-
probably wouldn't
I
let you
have
have the
got
keys.
one. I've
Just
not had it very long, but I have got one.
Fine.
Okay, and what's your general style of driving like?
Totally legit.
A bit fast, I'm guessing.
Well, no, because initially I'm being careful because it's not my car and I don't want to screw this up before we've even started. Because I'm aware that that's the thing that happens.
That
And
is
also,
the thing
this
that happens.
guy seems like the most talkative guy out of the four of us that are here so far, so I don't want to piss him off either. Especially not if he's going to leave me with her.
Hey!
So the other guy, he's nice, but he's a bit quiet.
Hey, he's doing his
But
best.
she's a bit weird. Whereas this guy, he likes cheese on toast, so, you know, what could go wrong with that? That's cool. And he wants to go to the gym. So, we're going to the gym and having a chat and driving down the highway on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
But the right side of the road, I'm not driving on the wrong side so that you feel better. Just to clear that.
Yeah, that would have made me really. You can see.
This is not helping!
You can see he's notably uncomfortable about like sort of the
Well, it's
right
fine
position.
because you're sat in the driver's seat.
So you're saying in exactly the
Right seat for being British, yes.
the right place that you should be driving, but you're on the wrong side of the road, so you don't have much. You don't have a very good view of the road.
No, yeah.
Plus, even out here in like semi-suburbia, it's probably a 30 limit because
And a massive road.
weird. So, yeah, I'm being well.
You
behaved.
actually, you're not in suburbia. Well, you don't really start off in suburbia. Suburbia
But we're
does spread
going
out,
into it.
but you go into suburbia
Yeah.
and then into the town. Yeah.
Yeah, so the highest that the speedo is going to be out here is like 50. Because why?
Because America.
Yeah, Route 66, nothing on it. You can't drive faster than 60, I think. So.
Yep.
So weird.
Yep.
We found some back roads in Texas that were 75. I was like, yes!
On a mountain. With no safety barriers.
I was going to say, I think when I was driving down from Santa Monica down to
That was a different road.
LA, we were going around these really windy
Route
mountain
1,
paths.
Route 1 is amazing!
But I was doing it at night time. It was terrifying. I was driving in a Mustang on the wrong side of the road. I was not comfortable with that.
I was
American
not
cars
having a good
harness so
time.
well.
we were
Oh, yeah. That was the other thing that concerned me.
we were in a 30-foot RV.
Oh, God. Anyway, yes.
Sorry.
So, yeah.
Driving in America. Down the road, highway. Nice, big, flat, wide, open. Yep, we're fine.
Cool.
I am on my best
Yep.
behaviour and totally paying attention except to talking.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Fine. What are you talking about?
Do you know where the gym is?
Not a clue. I just kind of thought there would be a sign for it.
There's no sat nav in this day.
No. So we heard.
Yeah, I'll find it.
No Google Maps. You've
We'll find
literally
it.
just got to wander around.
directions.
That's cool, I can do that.
You've just got to wander around.
So,
Fine. We'll park up
Got to
somewhere.
talk to
and-
people.
yeah.
That was a thing in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
worst case scenario, we learn more about our surroundings.
It was a dark age.
Alright. What time do you want to get back by?
Well, we have to be back by 6.
Yeah, but I mean, you want to be back a bit before that?
I'm not fussed, to be honest.
Fine, just checking.
Quite happy to.
Yeah, because some of the girls used to take like 2 hours to get ready, so we had to be. If we were supposed to be there for 6, we had to start getting ready at like 3:30, and oh my god,
The girls.
they're not here. It's great. Do you want to listen to stereo?
Edward sort of puts a look on his face like he's regretting the option to come out, but then kind of no.
I mean, you can pick.
No, it's quite right. My taste in music is, shall we say, not what everybody else would listen to.
Classical.
Well, occasionally, yes, if the occasion calls for it.
Yeah, there's probably none of that around here.
No,
I'll
probably
just
not.
turn it off. It's fine.
No, please listen to your music. Listen to
So,
your music.
what do you want to do at the gym?
I mean,
Work out.
yeah, so surely that's self-explanatory.
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you do weights? Do you swim? Do you do your kickboxing? What are you gonna do?
Well, I do a little bit of everything. You have to train every part of your body.
Okay.
So weights, cardio.
So, did you do a lot of that in the army?
Oh, of course, yes, every day.
Can you show me some stuff?
I most certainly can. What would you like to see? Actually,
I don't know. Like, just I don't know stuff that might be useful for, you know.
what, are you talking combat training, or are you talking?
Well, we're not gonna have to fight stuff.
You don't know that.
Oh, I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I don't
But
really.
I don't know, like climbing maybe.
Well, I wasn't much of.
And then I remember that he doesn't like heights.
Yeah.
Shit.
He looks very nervous. You say, no,
Oh, swimming.
swimming. I can show you, but I would like to think that you could swim anyway.
Well, yeah, a bit.
What's
Actually, I
athletics
didn't
school?
bring a swimsuit, so maybe something else.
Quite good. Okay, well, we can start with some basic cardio.
Yoga.
Cardio, exercise, get your heart pumping.
Oh, right, yeah, cool.
So-
Yeah, okay.
Builds up your fitness and stamina. Anyway, enough about talking about exercise. Why do you think you got picked for the show?
Why not?
I know, I'm not specifying that you wouldn't be worthy to be on the show. I'm just wondering.
Well, I want to be on TV, and it's on TV, so it's great.
So you want to be famous?
Well, kinda.
Kinda. It seems to me your motivation for this is being on TV.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd like to present on MTV. That would be cool. Or have my own, like, segment doing tricks and stuff.
What's MTV?
You know, like, on the TV. And it shows, like, music videos and stuff.
Oh. No, I do not. I'm not aware of this.
Oh. Well, I'll show you when we get back to the hotel. I'm sure they'll
yes,
have all the
perhaps,
channels.
perhaps you can educate
Yeah.
me. I always like
so
to
you
learn
can
new
show
things.
me cardio, and I'll show you TV.
Sounds
I'm
good.
feeling judged again.
No judgment, no, certainly not. Don't judge anybody. Yes, I just feel it's rather odd that...
If you don't judge anybody, completely off the record, what do you think about the other two?
You're asking me to make judgment.
Well, I'm just, she's a bit weird. Do you think she's kind of, I don't know, she's kind of creepy.
I don't think so. Probably misunderstood.
She kept trying to make me drink scotch.
I think that's maybe a
She didn't
deep-seated...
eat.
But I think it's maybe a deep-seated issue. Maybe there's some pain there that she's trying to get away from. We shouldn't judge someone just because they like to drink.
Like it down.
Or
But,
because they don't like to drink.
Or because, well, no, I judge him for that. Definitely judge him.
Herman seems nice.
No, he seems odd. He doesn't drink.
But you just said, oh, I think this is our exit. Change
Oh.
of subject.
Have we driven past our exit?
No.
Probably not. I mean, you're driving into the town. It's not
It's
like...
fine, there's like 3, probably,
Yeah.
right?
And you don't even know which one you want anyway.
Yeah, we're just trying to find somewhere to, park.
AAA gym. Get ahead.
So, yes.
Chat.
Chat.
Nonsense.
Find a gym.
Yep.
Spend the next hour
what's
messing
your,
up.
so your athletics is pretty good.
Stamina is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Stamina is...
Yeah.
3 with 1 epic.
What's your point?
And what's your fortitude?
Some?
2.
2. What's yours in those sort of things?
It's not a competition.
No, I'm trying to judge.
3 in stamina with an epic, 3 in athletics,
Oh,
and
snap.
3 in fortitude.
Okay.
Oh, you beat me by 1.
No, I'm just trying to sort of judge how... So basically, you're showing her the cardio stuff.
I'm a fast learner.
She's not just a fast learner. She is very...
Keeping up with me.
She is keeping up. You are... Most people would be tapping out way... You know you are a lot fitter than most people.
Yeah, not just because of my military background, but because of also the new background.
The combination of the two. I mean, you were very fit beforehand.
I'm aware
And
that...
now you feel since that you feel more. You get tired even less quickly.
Yeah.
She's doing a pretty good job at keeping
It's
up.
not a competition, but I'm going to make sure that I don't show him up. Because I'm trying to make friends. So I don't want to take the guy that wants to go to the gym and then wreck him. That's just mean.
You do have valor.
Exactly.
Endurance is my virtue. So, and it's my very high virtue as well. So,
Yeah, no, I'm letting him show me the ropes and keeping up.
however, my character is also very intelligent and very, very perceptive, and I've already worked out that you're holding back. So I'm going to part the way through, just tell you to stop holding back, because. And I believe competition's healthy, and it's the only way we get better at things.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Do you want to try something else?
Fighting.
Just throws a knife in the middle.
Nice! Yeah, no. Anyway, yeah, we have some
We have
friendly competition at the gym.
yeah.
Awesome.
Without drawing too much attention from anywhere else.
I was going to say.
There's a dude in the corner called Chad who thinks he's amazing and has just been out weightlifted by a girl.
Yeah, I mean,
There was some bit of that.
obviously, as the competition proceeds, we're sort of pushing ourselves into the boundaries of going sort of beyond.
I'm trying not to because
You're-
I've been told not to.
Your beyond human isn't yet too far beyond. In terms of there's some stuff that is. So you probably don't want to go to the limits of your weightlifting because epic strength and weightlifting gets silly. Even level 1 isn't as ridiculous. It's not the point where you can pick up the Empire State Building and beat someone to death with it, but it's a very
Fairly.
noticeable. Those kind of things, some of them are quite very noticeable. So you probably wouldn't be wanting to do the limit of what you could do for weightlifting. Your sort of endurance in terms of the amount of time you can be doing something strenuous for is like doubled. Things like that. So, yes, you probably want to be a little bit careful, but within the scale of what you've got, it's not ridiculous.
Day one, being
Probably
careful,
don't kick
making
in like
friends.
a sprinter. Just saying.
Making friends.
But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure, because I was trying to see if she was trying to keep up with me, like, would I be like all of a sudden starting to get suspicious because, like, I'm now pushing myself into my
limit.
Yeah, into my heroic limit, as it were, like this newfound strength, and actually she's keeping up with me. No, she's not. She's choosing not to keep up with
Because
me.
she's choosing not to if you're going that far, but also...
No, I just tailor myself to just be slightly ahead of her, because like I said, deep down...
Which is perfect, because I'm trying to be slightly behind.
Deep down, while he hasn't admitted it, Edward is highly competitive, having two older sisters, which he hasn't alluded to yet, but he will. He has two older sisters, so being a sibling, he is ultimately very competitive.
See, this is really hard because I think Lisa's probably very competitive, but she's really trying to be on her best behaviour right now.
But like I said, I think Edward spotted that and has said to you he doesn't want you to be taking it easy.
Yes, you don't. Of course, you do not know that any of the others
No.
are the members of those those other little,
No.
little young pantheons,
Nope.
those new starters, new
Nope.
upstarts on the block that you're supposed to be seeing what they're up to. But
Well, plus, as far as mine are concerned, I'm the new upstart, so, that's fine.
you're more of a new upstart than like the Aesir are. That's true. But at least you're learning the right sort of skill. The Aesir are barely civilized.
It's true.
There is a good deal of sort of casual racism in the Celestial bureaucracy. We are the only civilized nation kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to, throw things in there that aren't...
Oh, no, I'm not saying your character
No, but, as a...
thinks that way.
Depends
but that's
how...
kind
It
of
depends
the
what
way
I've been
you've
told and how, and like you said, everyone here is totally normal, boring
what
human.
you've been taught so far about the other pantheons is probably a reasonable amount of that. I think your
Very kind of dismissive-ish.
your actual patron has probably not really told you that much because he's like, yeah, they
He's got more
exist.
important things to do.
They do stuff. They think they're important. Don't be too keen to make them feel that you disagree because then they just get upset and it's just more hassle than it's worth.
Wow, your patron told you a lot more than mine did.
You want to hear how we met?
I look forward to that.
Yeah. It's also slightly weird because you now look older than your father.
Yep.
Perpetual, overly enthusiastic, brash 17-year-old.
So I guess we just work out, and then realise that we've been working out for quite a while.
And then be
You
like,
can work
hey, I'm
out quite
hungry,
well.
let's go food.
Yeah, and then we just take a walk around the town, chit-chat some more.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, she's...
We're almost bonding,
Yeah.
even though we're very different.
She's certainly...
She's energetic.
Oh, yeah.
She's energetic, and
Like a puppy.
her physical ability certainly sets her apart from
Like a puppy on
the
steroids.
average. She's not necessarily into she's blatantly something supernatural,
Yeah.
but if you're starting to think that we've been chosen for a reason,
Yeah, I mean that's it.
she's nowhere near the middle of the
Yeah, I
curve.
mean, it's a sort of
Middle of
Edward.
the bell
Edward
curve.
believes that all of this is destiny rather than we've been randomly chosen. So, while I may not have an inkling that she's a Scion at the moment,
Fits with
It-
your,
Fear.
she's definitely
So, yep.
she's
Did
definitely
did
someone.
anyone take mystery as a purvey?
That sounds a bit Norse to me.
It's a few things. Yes, Odin gives you options to access mystery
Everything.
and magic and
So when you get back into your room
Prophecy.
tonight, ooh,
so
mystery.
you get all three of them. All three of the special purviews Odin has, because that's what he does. He's
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah.
So,
That's what you need to do. Get back to your room and go, well, give me some mystery.
yes, on the note of mystery, because we're already going to wrap up there, and then we'll cut back in
Cool.
for the next session, hopefully
Cool.
with Roger turning up. On the note of which mystery, I believe the rules for it are that basically you can do it once per.
You ask a question.
You can ask questions.
isn't it? Because when the way you explained it to me, it was I rolled some dice. I can't remember.
You
what
roll
it was against.
intelligence
So
and
are
mystery.
you-
You don't include your epics, I don't think. Yeah, you don't add bonuses from epics. You then ask a storyteller pointed specific questions about various events that have occurred in games 1 question per success. Cannot reveal facts about things that will happen in the future. That's prophecy. And they have to be about things that have happened in games, so things that have happened around you. I mean, potentially.
Is she a Scion?
Yeah. Can use this ability to gain knowledge only once per story, so be a little aware of that.
Yeah.
Are
we all Scions?
If you
I don't need to. I've got unlidded eyes. So if I really wanted to, I could see that you were all Scions.
So just be aware of that one. It is a.
You should use it on a really.
You can
mundane
roll it
one.
as many times as you want, as in the sense of if you fail, you can then try again at another point. But as soon as you get successes, that's what you get in that story. So it has to be things that are directly occurring around you. I may be a little. I'll see how it plays out. Mystery is one of those odd ones where if you ask the right question, I'm loath to answer questions that are revealing like the secret stuff that you shouldn't really have figured out yet.
Yeah.
Because you go,
what's the point of this show?
Exactly.
Oh my god. Ruin and it's game over. That's it.
Yeah.
That said,
how do we win?
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening?
That said, I am perfectly happy for you. All that said, I am perfectly happy for you to
bottom of the text.
Use the abilities you have
in joke
to bypass like chunks of the plot if you use them cleverly and manage to get stuff. So it's kind of it's like if you bypass to the next interesting bit, or jump some stuff and get to another interesting bit, that's fine. It's if you kind of go
circumvent everything.
So,
it would also ruin the whole experience.
So
don't worry,
do you want to know what I just noticed?
Yeah.
So guess who's on Daddy's rivals list? Odin.
Oh, we're making friends.
And you're making friends. Yeah, fine, whatever.
It's fine. You're your own people.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's basically because I presume it's basically because Odin has this tendency to hoard knowledge and isn't very cheerful and excitable. Combination of the two, they don't really get on personally, and Odin has this tendency to kill people for knowledge.
Rude.
Cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah, including carrying around someone's severed head and stuff to talk to and stuff like that. Seriously, Odin would not have a problem with most of the Aztec stuff, unless it was infringing on him. At which point he would try and find ways of utterly destroying them.
Casual.
I say try because
casual.
They're pretty powerful as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. So yes, thank you guys, and that was a bit of that at the end.
Hooray!
This should be up in a few days on the channel, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. On Thursday, it is Flint and Steel, is it this week?
Yep, that's right.
Cool. So Flint and Steel. So there'll be a live stream probably before that.
Yep, 7
And
to
then-
8-ish.
Yeah, and then the actual Flint and Steel episode later on in the week. So yeah.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye bye.
Au revoir.
Bye.